what I'm going to talk about in this video is everybody's going to hate me. I say everybody's going to hate me, but I just mean all Republicans and all Democrats are going to hate me. I'll get to that in a minute. Stay tuned. Welcome to the White Squirrel Podcast. It's not a podcast. I don't know why I always say that. It feels like a podcast to me. It's a YouTube channel. I feel like making a post like this. Oh, by the way, I'm not taking my shirt off. I'm not hitting the scales every Wednesday. One thing that has changed my life about this channel, I started that, whatever it was, 37 fat loss hacks that I wish I knew at 30, whatever, that thing. That thing worked. But I want to tell you that the thing that has changed my life about this channel is I'm not eating at night. I'm not eating in front of screens. In other words, that problem that I had where I ate in front of the TV every evening, I think that was probably the number one contributor to my negative health. And I've cut that out. It's not happening anymore. I'm not eating in front of the TV, period. And that's made a big difference. My evenings, I might eat something in the evening, but if I eat something, I get up, go outside, take a walk, go to the kitchen, whatever. I don't eat in the living room in front of the TV anymore. And if that's the one thing that helps somebody, great. Okay. Now I'm going to piss every Republican and every Democrat off. And I started to say, well, I'm also going to piss off every Christian and every atheist. So if you're a Christian, an atheist, a Democrat, or a Republican, buckle up, get ready. You're going to hate this post. The number one most influential thing in my life is my belief, and I was born in this, I was raised in this, and I recognize that sometimes we're born in and we're raised in things that they just kind of set us in a position, and that's where we go for the rest of our lives. And so I recognize if I'd been born Buddhist or born Muslim or born Hindu, my whole outlook on life might be different. I recognize that. I am incredibly influenced by conversation. If somebody asked me, Josh, what's your greatest skill? I might be accused of the opposite, but I think my greatest skill in my personal life is my willingness and my ability to take in information and allow it to change the way I think. I long for and have this addiction to information. I want to learn. Every time I see somebody having some kind of career, I want to learn how to do that. I want to learn that skill. I want to live 500 years because I wish I had time to live every life. I enjoy this thing called life so much. And I want to be liked. I want every freaking body to like me. Don't we all want to be liked? When the woman was caught in adultery, I think Jesus calls out her sin, and that might cause sinners to dislike him. He also I think when he bends down and he writes in the sand, my mom said this, I think I learned this from her, but I think I believe it. My gut just says he was writing down the names of men that had been with this woman of the night or whatever. And so he was, in that situation, he was simultaneously pissing off both sides. When Jesus says to give to Caesar what's Caesar's and to give to God what's God's, I think he was pissing off the Jews and he was pissing off the Romans. You say, Josh, you're saying pissing. Yeah, I told you I was going to piss Christians off too, or whatever. I want to piss everybody off. He was not getting trapped in those categories. When it came to divorce, he sided with the more liberal rabbis of the day. When it came to when it came to other things, he sided with the more conservative rabbis. Um, when it came to healing on the Sabbath, he broke the religious rules, and he also made sure the crowd understood that he wasn't just a miracle man. He wasn't just a he was about more than just these miracles. When his mom asked him to to do something about the party, it wasn't his first instinct to just to just meet a need, but he did it for mom. I'm in this little club, right, where we ended up reading a Jordan Peterson book, and it's funny. Okay, I've got a close friend. Um, I was talking to this close friend yesterday, and we were just when we get together, we just talk, probably longer than our wives want us to, and and I say close friend. This is a guy that I have a close friendship with. We might meet for lunch once a year. I mean, we hang out very, very little. I don't have many close friends. I mean, so I was telling him yesterday, I was like, what? If somebody asked me who are my closest friends outside of friends and outside of family, I'd say, you pretty darn close to the top, man. It's funny because my closest friend is my wife. I mean, my wife is literally the most important thing in my life. You say, Josh, what's the most influential thing in your life? Probably my belief in this first century Jewish rabbi, which is weird, unless you believe that this first century Jewish rabbi had some sort of supernatural connection to divinity. And I do. You say kind of do. I know that'll piss religious Christians off because I kind of do. Um, I grew up believing Jesus is God. I kind of still hold to that. Um, that'll piss atheists off, but I also kind of believe that that God wants us to join the party, to hurry up and become divine ourselves, and that'll piss everybody off on it. Okay, so I'm pissing everybody off. Anyway, I'm talking to this friend, and we don't hang out every weekend. We don't talk every week, but I was talking to we got to talking about politics and Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump, and it's funny because we don't. I mean, he's a Duke fan. I'm a Carolina fan. I think Duke fans are literally from the devil, and if you're a Duke fan, I don't want to ever talk to you. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, but I'm a Carolina fan, passionately Carolina. He's passionately Duke. He thinks I'm way left. Of course, I think, during the Obama administration, I didn't vote for Obama either time. During the Obama administration, I kept calling him out for drone strikes. I thought that was wrong. I thought killing people with drones was horrible, and I kept calling that out. If you said to me, Josh, you're a Democrat, I would probably shoot you the bird and tell you you're an idiot because I'm not a Democrat. If you told me I was a Republican, I would say, F Donald Trump. I mean, I'm not. I meant Republican. If you said I was a Republican, I mean, no. I think MAGA is blasphemy. I think it's horrible. And so this is how I'm successfully going to piss off both sides. Anyway, he voted for Trump. He said he voted for Trump 3 times, and he was willing to do it a 4th. But I love the guy. He's a close friend. And I passionately think that that's not something to joke about. Geez. I saw Newsom talking about he had a dozen hats that said Trump 2028. And he's making the point that that's not something. Hey, I think that's not something to joke about. Democracy is more important than any single political party. Okay, you say, Josh, what's your point in this video? My point is, okay, I was going to tell you about the little club I'm in, right? I feel like they're mostly more left than even me. You say, Josh, did you just say you're left? Yeah, but I'm also more right than them, and I'm more left than you and more right than you too. And you say, whoa, how can that be? Well, people are complex. We can be right on this and left on that. We can be east on this and south on that. There's different things. Humanity's complex. We got to stop trying to put everything into a single box. Me and that friend got to talking yesterday about abortion, and I said I'm passionately opposed to abortion. I think it's a bad idea, but I would never, ever, ever want to take away a woman's right to choose. You say, Josh, that's oxymoronic. No, it's not. It's not my opinion doesn't matter on your body. So in this little club, right, we read this Jordan Peterson book, and stay with me because I'm getting ready to pick on both of you, both sides. We read this Jordan Peterson book, and people that I care about, I love, I enjoy this little club. I like these people, but a good portion of them wouldn't finish the book because because Jordan Peterson's an a-hole. He says things in an offensive, ugly way, and he says them. He's just not kind. And now I just pissed off all the Jordan Peterson fans, but I don't care. Here's the thing. I was trying to explain to them, you got to listen to this because some of the things he says is right. Some of the things he says are right. Some of the things are right. They're correct, not right or left. They're correct. And some of the things he says are wrong. And sometimes he says things that just aren't true. And sometimes he says things that are true in a deeper way than we understand at first glance. And so I wanted to say to these friends, you should read the frickin' book. Get all the way through it. Listen to it. Argue with it. Wrestle with it. And then I have these other people in my life that are MAGA, right-wing. I almost said nut jobs, but I shouldn't say that. There are left-wing nut jobs. There are right-wing nut jobs. And everybody's a nut job, including me, in some aspect, some way I'm wrong. But anyway, I have these conversations with these people on the right, and they get red-faced and mad, and they just walk away. They will not finish the conversation because they're snowflakes. No, that I can't say that. But have you noticed that at times we've got the right saying the left's just snowflakes, and then something happens and the right gets so offended that they just won't even allow people to speak. I can't figure out what is it. Jimmy Kimmel that just got canceled or closed or suspended or whatever. We need to listen and hear, and in our personal speech, we've got to figure out a way not to be so offensive. You say, Josh, you're making a video about being offensive to everybody, and you're telling us not to be offensive. I'm complex. I'm not good at it. I'm not saying I'm the solution. I was listening to this TikTok, and this guy is quoting somebody after an assassination, and he's quoting this person, and this person is saying nasty things about the deceased, and it's horrible, and you hear it, and you're in your mind, he's talking about Charlie Kirk. That whoever this person is saying these nasty things, he's saying nasty things about Charlie Kirk. And the point or the punchline is at the end, he says, these are things Charlie Kirk said about George Floyd. And as I listened to that video, I went, you made a strong point, but maybe it's not the time. It was close. Today is too close to Charlie Kirk's assassination for us to be parsing all of this out. But we don't have a choice. You know what? Network news like ABC, CNN, NBC, Fox, I think they're starting to get censored. I think they're probably going to be so vanilla at some point that could you imagine those networks being vanilla? But what's going to happen as the FCC starts threatening things? Are they going to kick everybody off the air? What's going to happen? I think you and I, all of us, humanity, we need to do a better job of listening to the other side. I hesitate to say things like this because I'm so afraid that my business in my personal business, people are going to say, I can't work with Josh because he's right, or I can't work with Josh because he's left, and we don't agree politically, and we don't agree theologically, and we don't agree on anything. If you find two humans that agree on everything, something's one of them's redundant. One of them's that's wrong. I shouldn't say that. But you know what I mean? I mean, we don't agree on everything. And so when we're as complex as we are as human beings, we need to get out of a system that requires you to either vote blue or red. This is a problem. Having two boxes that you can check, it's a problem. Um, I really think we need to figure out a way to stop this two-party system in America. I think we need to get to the point that we're willing to listen and we're willing to sit in conversations. The only way people are going to have close relationships, the only way people are going to get to really know each other is to listen to all the mess, work through it, keep talking. When you get offended and you get hurt, keep loving. Somebody unfriended me on Facebook yesterday. Probably every day this week, somebody unfriended me on Facebook. But I happened to hear about one of them yesterday. And the person said he's one of those that won't listen to both sides. Holy cow! In my entire life, I've unfriended two people on Facebook. One of them I unfriended because she was literally messaging people I didn't know. I mean, people that I was, Facebook friends with, but I didn't even hardly know. She's going down my Facebook friend list and sending all of them a message about why I wasn't a Christian because I didn't believe in hell. And you know what? I don't mind if she tells the whole world that I don't think that God has this fiery torture chamber. That's fine. Tell everybody that. But it was just weird. Like, stop, So I unfriended that person. And then another person was jumping in my threads and just trying to start fights and then just going away. He just totally would ghost the conversation and not participate. And so I unfriended him for a period of about a year. And then I allowed him, or we became friends again on Facebook, and he still does the same crap sometimes. But literally, I don't unfriend people. If you look at my Facebook feed and you think, oh, wow, Josh only has one kind of people in his side, so he must be left, it's because all the people on the right unfriended me. Anyway, all right. That my point today is this. I wish we could figure out a way to talk through this mess and not stop just because we get offended. That's it. Just keep working through it until we figure out better ways to love one another.